Canada's in a bit of a rut, and, I think we have a rough road ahead. People like to think they're important, especially people with titles, and, well, the bigger the title, the more important they like to think they are. I mean, who'd want to just be Canadian, right? If you could be a globalist. I mean, just one country or the entire world. Globalists will obviously make you feel more important, but there's a second part. People that think they're important also like to change things. Like to put their stamp of approval on them. Even when those things don't need to be changed. Even when we've been doing them for years, and even when a process is already working. Like a budget. A person with an important title might even think they're so smart that a budget doesn't have to pay the bills, and that a budget can count spending money as making money. A globalist or an asset manager. A small business owner or a bookkeeper, they'd never come up with an idea like that. Today's Backroad kind of represents Canada's future. I think we're going to need four-wheel drive. I'm an artist and a musician, and, I make art. I write and I play music. A logger cuts down trees and turns them into logs. A baker bakes things and makes loaves of bread and croissants and cookies and such. An author writes a book. An astronaut goes to space. Even a bookkeeper keeps books. But a banker? Banks? What does a banker do? Does a banker make money? They've never made any money for me. They've always taken more in service charges than they've ever given me back in interest. What about a central banker? Do they make money? I know they print money. And I know they inflate the value of money. But could you call that making money? When the value of the Canadian dollar has dropped against assets like gold and silver and housing, my whole life. When I was young, my parents bought the house I grew up in for $26,000 roughly, and that house would now be in the $2 million or so range. Given the neighborhood it was in. And an ounce of gold was, about $100. Now it sits at roughly, about $6,000 Canadian? The Canadian dollar has done less for me and bought less for me every year since I was born. And I understand wages have supposedly gone up to counteract all this inflation. In the 70s, I would have made about $2.50 an hour. If I was old enough to work, that is. And now, that would be about $25 an hour. That's for an average sort of job, So, $2.50 times 10 equals 25. That means the average person is making, 10 times more than they did in the late 70s. That means they've added 1 zero to the end of what they make for their ability to obtain wealth. The average 70s millionaire, they're now a billionaire. You have to times 1 million by 1,000 to make a billion. So that means millionaires now make 1,000 times what they made in the 70s. That's why we now have to call them billionaires and not millionaires. 1,000 times. We got 10 times more. The already rich got 1,000 times more. Remember the $1 Million Man? Try doing that these days. Anyway, this is what bankers, especially central bankers, do. Make the wealthier, and then make themselves wealthier by charging interest and fees on anyone who uses the bank. Now don't get me wrong, I'm all for the free market. I mean, I really am. But it has to actually be free, and it has to be accessible by everyone. I mean, when I was young, I could dream about being a millionaire. I mean, with hard enough work, enough effort, becoming a millionaire was actually obtainable by a lower middle class Canadian individual, you know? Someone like me, or probably you. But becoming a billionaire these days? There's not a chance in hell, is there? I think most people look at bankers like somebody playing that role in Monopoly. I mean, you give them the money and they give you a hotel to put on one of your properties. Every time you pass go, you get $200. And if the banker's someone you trust, you know, someone you ask to play that role, they will hold or disperse the money according to the rules of the game. I mean, everyone mostly has fun. All sounds good, right? Except you all know the game. By the end, one player owns everything and everyone else is bankrupt. And that whole scenario I just said is only true if you trust the person that's a banker and you put one of your friends in charge. But in the real world, bankers have gotten together with billionaires and politicians and have changed the rules of Monopoly so much that us middle class folks, we don't have a hope. We're barely even playing the game anymore. For us, well, the banker's still handing us $200 for passing go. But his friend who owns Park Place and Boardwalk, well, he gets $200,000 every time he passes go. Why? Because he's elite. Because he knows the banker. And if you need to borrow money, well, that will be 6%. And 16% if it's a credit card, or even more if you're poor or you have bad credit. But Mr. McPark Place McBoardwalk over there, Mr. Elite, well, he gets to borrow at 0%. Or at least close to it. I mean, at this point, the game is completely rigged. Rigged by the only player in the game who has the power to do so. The banker. You see, the other players can't cheat. I mean, they can't become Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk. Without the help of the banker, anyway. I mean, have you ever noticed when you play Monopoly, you keep your money in front of you? Not in the bank. Anyway, I get that Monopoly is not the real world, but it's still a good way to illustrate my point. There is a second part of the story as well. Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk has another friend besides a banker. He has an asset manager. Why? Because Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk has so much money that I can't ever hope to spend it all. I mean, you can only buy so many mansions and jets and yachts. You know, eventually that gets boring. So, Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk there, well, he gives a bunch of his hordes of dollars to Mr. Asset Manager. And Mr. Asset Manager runs out and buys hordes of assets. Businesses and pipelines and apartment buildings and technologies and, well, you know, all that kind of thing. And in return, the asset manager takes a fee for the service. And if these assets go up in price, well, they'll hide the profits in the Cayman Islands or some similar tax haven. And if these assets go down, well, then they write it off and pay less taxes. Win, 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 right? At least for the asset manager and Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk and the rest of his billionaire ilk. But the rest of us, well, we just keep losing, getting a little poorer every day. Now, the banker and the asset manager and Mr. Elite McPark Place McBoardwalk are, well, they're just characters in a made-up scenario. But if you look at the current budget, the one that just passed, we're getting $200 for Pass and Go, and Mr. Leak McPark Place McBoardwalk is getting $200,000. And it appears to me that Canada is being treated as, well, as an asset. And it should be treated as a country full of Canadian people. As I've mentioned before, I used to be a 3D animator, and I worked on kids television. And my wife worked in lighting and grip, and for Hollywood North. And the software I used to animate with was called Softimage and was made in Canada. We had a huge game industry, and we were world leaders in all kinds of technologies. We had a massive tourism sector. I mean, come on. Canada is the most beautiful country in the world after all. I mean, at least from a raw nature point of view. And we had everything. Fishing, skiing, hiking. I mean, every outdoor activity there is. And even our cities had world-class restaurants and shopping and events and shows. I mean, everything you could want if you're not the outdoor type. And Canada had thriving communities with a lot more than just a bakery and 7-Eleven. I mean, it had comic shops and tattoo parlors and yoga studios and gym shops and all kinds of stuff. All successful and prosperous. Communities were a place where small businesses weren't competing with global corporations and interests. And of course, we had our resource sector, which is, mining, forestry, fisheries, hydro, and so on. And all of this had something in common. It was the Canadian people. The Canadian people made this country function. The Canadian people made this country a home. I mean, Canadians had an exceptional quality of life because Canadians ran our country. Not globalists, not giant corporations, not... I mean, quietly, everything has become about the financial sector. That and Canada's great wealth of resources, of course, they need those to feed the financial sector. Billionaires, bankers, asset managers, they've slowly taken over everything. Convince us that globalization and politics and climate change are, well, that's all that matter. That for some reason they need to be in charge. I mean, they caused the whole damn thing. That, and they're trying to convince us that they can change the world around us, whether we like it or not. That we simply have no say. I mean, for a lot of it, they're trying to replace our real world with a virtual one. I mean, this budget was not written for the well-being of the majority of Canadians. It was written for the financial sector and for the financial class. Big dollar deals with foreign countries to create carbon-reduced energy. I mean, he calls it a new industry when in reality it's just another financial asset for the elite to purchase and an asset management company to manage. Carbon capture, this budget, I mean, none of it is for us. It's not for you. It's not for me. Well, that's for sure. Ask yourself, how did we all end up in this place? Where all of the Western countries' finances are in serious trouble, all over the world. Our governments are in debt beyond what's sustainable. Our small businesses are failing. We have thousands of homeless. Millions at the food bank every month. The middle class is being decimated as I'm speaking. It gets worse every day. But the top class, the ones we call elite, the billionaires and the asset managers, they're just getting richer and richer and more powerful by the day. I believe that a truly good person can't even be a billionaire. Their own morals would keep them from being okay with that kind of wealth disparity. And it would bother them that the rules needed to be bent and rewritten, and in order for this to even happen. I mean, for the billionaires to even exist. An elite, globalist, banker/asset manager was elected to run Canada. And we got the budget to match that. We honestly should not have expected any different, but I think a lot of Canadians are still hopeful. And anyway, we're now stuck with this budget, at least for now, and it got voted in, it's passed, and it's official. But I don't want to leave all this on such a negative note. I mean, history is full of moments like this, and of course it doesn't always go the right way, but if we change our perspective a little, sometimes the solutions start to appear. I mean, this idea that we need to fight our government probably won't ever work, but we do still need to stand up to them. Of course, we need solutions. A way to move away from globalism and to become Canada again. A country with an identity. True, north, strong, and free, as I like to quote. And of course, so much more. And one solution, well, we need to talk to each other again. Find ways to meet up in person and talk face to face. Exchange ideas and thoughts, concepts. And we need more strong people to lead. Not in government, just in our communities and across Canada. Canadian communities, not globalist ones. And we need to talk to our politicians and our police and anyone else that's in power. And we need to start telling them how we feel. And every day in every way. Email them, see them on the street, however, let them know how you're feeling. And of course, we have to elect people with good ideas, Not parties, not billionaires, not celebrities. People with good ideas. And if you yourself are personally passionate about an issue, what happened to the ostriches, or Canada becoming globalist, or property rights in BC, or forest management and fire mitigation, or, 1,000 other issues this country has, then go out and learn everything you can about that topic from multiple different sources. Both sides of the topic has two sides, like the ostriches and the CFIA. And make sure you have an informed opinion. Yeah. Make sure you know your subject. And then start telling people about it. YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or, a whole bunch of places. You guys know how to get it all out there. There's lots of places I don't even have any idea about. I'm kind of socially illiterate. I don't even know how to use emojis after all. Do what you can, and if we all do, a whole bunch of little things can add up to a lot. Well, today's trail was a bit of a muddy mess, and I had mud grabbing up my tires the entire way. And I was out there for hours. This was just the beginning and the end of the trail. But I'm back on pavement now. Me and my Jeep made it all the way through, and I think this kind of represents all of us, doesn't it? As I said at the beginning, Canada's got a rough road to ride, but, I think Canada and the Canadian people are going to get through it. We just need a sticker and four-wheel drive. We'll get through the rough patches. And I also think we need to license politicians and set rules for their profession. They keep doing that to us. But that will have to be for the next Thoughts from the Back.